was doing an online lesson last night, and when golfers send us videos, you know, we ask for a couple paragraphs describing what they're doing in the swing. And he said he'd been struggling with face control, and what he said he was trying to do to fix that is probably the #1 myth regarding the release that we see in the golf swing. Smash that subscribe button, click that bell notification, and check out the link in the first pinned comment below. That's 3 things. That's 3 things to do before you learn what the fix is. So, controlling the club face by keeping it square to the path. What's wrong with it?
Yeah, the myth is that it never really stays square to the path. During the swing, the face is opening and closing the whole time. And golf is learning how to position the body and get the sequence and timing correct. So when you do throw it, it ends up being square, pretty square. The face-to-path relationship is playable. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah, and you know, this is an opinion. This has been measured now by way more people than us for a long time. The face opens roughly 90 degrees to the path in the backswing, and then you've got to close it roughly 90 degrees to the path in downswing. It's kind of how we're built, standing on an angle beside the ball. You can't really not do that. We've seen golfers try it, and then it's going to open way late a ton, and that's where a lot of issues. That's what this golfer was struggling with.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it square early, and then the dam broke up at the top, and he suffered for it in the downswing.
You see 2 things. You know, they try to keep it facing the ball, and it's so shut, and they just kind of keep it that way and hit hard pull hooks, right? Or they have to hang back, or they get it shut, and eventually it opens.
That's what this player was doing.
And then they're in a bad spot because when it opens late and they pull on the club to start down, it lays back even worse. And then again, you're coming into the hitting area here with the face laid back. You could play like that, but you have to have so much kind of rapid hand action. It makes it very difficult to have club face control.
Show me that position again where the club face is behind. So when he's late in the downswing and that sweet spot is behind the hosel, that's probably, shout out to Brian Manzella, that's probably the #1 reason we see golfers shank.
Shank, slice,
now
flip.
You're leading the hosel instead of leading with the sweet spot.
And the problem is most golfers don't understand that. It's part of the process to fix the impact, right? So you could be beating your head off a wall trying not to shank, trying not to slice, and trying not to scoop, but you don't realize that the problem happened as soon as this club started flopping open. You're looking at the effect, not the true cause of the issue.
That club face is going to rotate roughly 90 degrees in the backswing. Our job is to determine when that happens. We don't want to go shut, 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 and then pop open at the top because, like you said, downswing is less than a quarter of a second. It's brutally difficult to recover from that. So what's a good benchmark that you can film your swing with and see if you're starting off in the right window?
Yeah, and I'm just going to start with a little grip check.
Now, always going to need a grip check.
So, you know, make sure it's in the base of the fingers, and you could hold your arm up here, put your left lead wrist kind of flat, and make sure the club face is either matching, and we like it turned away just a little bit if we're just doing a stock swing. You can see this would be too open, and this would be too close. So you're just trying to create that face relationship before you even hit the shot, right? So we're building in a strong club face at address.
That's a good point, because I think a lot of this, certainly how I was taught, you think of grip strength by how much the hand is turned, right? But it's how that club sits in that grip that matters a tremendous amount. We never hear that talked about enough.
Yeah, I mean, I could have a super strong grip and just like twist my arms and the face looks open, but in reality, if I put my lead wrist flat, that's pretty shut.
And vice versa.
It's exactly right. So check it here first. The cool part about that is that should be the top of your backswing. So that same relationship, if I swing this up and let the club start to rotate and have my left wrist pretty flat, now I've got...
Go ahead, put like a normal shot there.
Yeah.
If I go up, what you're talking about. So from the down the line video, you should see the sweet spot of the face, right, on the top side of the shaft. You don't want to see it under the shaft. That's killer #1.
Yeah, you can pretty much walk down the range and have 100 golfers stop at the top, and we can tell you generally who's decent and who's not.
Right.
Just by that.
Just by that.
So once you've got that on top of the shaft, not behind, you're just trying to lower that down as you start rotating the pelvis, right? The torso comes along for the ride, the right arm reconnects. And then before the club crosses your back line here, you should just see it as vertical.
Yeah, so at a point from the down the line video, kind of mid-downswing roughly, on video it's going to look like this club is laying on Sean's back line. you want to see this score line, this leading edge, vertical.
You're pretty much straight up and down.
Yep. Tilted this way would be closed. Some of you are going to see it leaning back on itself. That's wide open.
And these are just good checkpoints for you when you go to the range. You know, try to film every third swing, let's say.
Right.
Or use a swing coach app, whatever it is. But go back and look and see, am I in a good locked and loaded position here? I mean, this is pretty much the end of the road, right? Once you've gotten this far into the swing, you're just letting it go at this point. There's not much.
You ain't changing much after that.
Yeah, he's pre-programming the flight of the ball here at this point.
That's why we love this kind of mid-back checkpoint. We got this from Scott Hamilton, which is more tour players than anyone. It's because if it ain't good here, it's going to be very difficult to correct it after that.
Yeah, if it's shut, you'd have to undo that. If it's open, you're having to put a twist on it late. So if it's there and I just keep unhinging my wrist and rotating the body, the face has a pretty good chance of coming back fairly square.
So the first thing we want you to do is, like Sean said, get this arm level, this wrist flat, and see where your club face falls. You want it maybe that's level, just slightly this leading edge above level. What do you like to do for a check up at the top to make sure that club face is on top of the shaft?
Yeah, you just down the line camera, right?
Got to use a camera.
Use a camera. Film your swing, waist high, through the hand, well, through the hands,
Yep.
basically, right? In line with the hands. Make a swing. You can even do a practice swing. Just film it. You know, record on your iPhone, whatever you have. Take it up and just swing through, and then pause the video right before the club changes direction. And if you see your club face on the back side of your shaft, you've got some work to do. Whether it's the grip,
Yes.
or whether you shut it and rolled it open, or you just fanned it open to begin with. Figure out a way to swing this back so this club face is on this side of the shaft, and you've got a really good chance at that point. You've got things leaned in your direction at that point.
For as long as we've been teaching golf, a lot of years now, a lot of decades now, we haven't yet to see an amateur golfer, again, with all skill levels of amateurs, know where this face, exactly where this face is, there and coming down. They can recognize it on video, but if you're just swinging without the feedback of the camera, you're not going to know where that's at. And when you put it in the right spot, it probably is a good chance it's going to feel really weird. So that's why you want the feedback. You don't want to have the intent of making a change. You want to know you're making the change. And the more you do it, the less weird it feels, the more normal it feels. And then eventually, the more you do that, you don't have to think about it anymore.
No, and that's the ultimate, right?
Right.
Is knocking off these pieces in the swing so you don't have to think about it as much. You're always going to have a couple swing thoughts,
Sure.
I feel like, because you're always going to be working on something because things move around in the swing. You got to keep an eye on this. You're pulling weeds, right?
Right.
You're pulling weeds in the garden. So if you can knock off one of these big weeds or pull this big weed,
There may not be any bigger weed than
the club face.
The club face.
Club face is king. That makes the ball go where
Yeah.
it goes. So knock out this one so you can cross that off your list, and you can work on some other things that will make even more improvements. But
Yes.
get this knocked out.
Absolutely.